When they ask me how I did it, I say God taught me. When they ask me how I'm winning, I say God taught me. When they ask me why I'm different, I say God taught me. This my time to get it. God taught me. When they ask me how I did it, I say God taught me. When they ask me how I'm winning, I say God taught me. When they ask me why I'm different, I say God taught me. This my time to get it. God taught me.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Purposeful Pain. I'm back. You already know where I tell my story on my spiritual journey, along with ways to partner alongside you on your spiritual journey. I am your host at Miss Izzy, also known as Isabel or Isabella, depending on where you know me from. So if you guys are ready to have real talk on how we can lean on God while becoming better versions of ourselves, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button so we can catch up every week. Your girl is back. Wow, guys, it has been a whole month since we have gotten together. And I have had a full month of milestones, lessons. If you guys have been following me on IG, I just had a birthday. Your girl turned 42. I got rebaptized as an adult, and I launched our apparel line, All for God's Glory. You can get this hoodie on our apparel line. Shameless plug. You can also get this cup on our line. Another shameless plug. Anywho, links and all of that good stuff will be down below. Man, I missed you guys. I have missed talking to you guys. Okay, it has been a full month for your girl. So, anywho, before we jump into today's topic, because it's gonna be a good one, let's get into our gem of the week and our biblical affirmations. So, our gem of the week reads, Vision, today is already great. God has given me another chance to be great. God has given my children air in their lungs, vision in their eyes. God has blessed someone with another turn around the sun. That makes for an already great day. Intention. Today I will not stress out. Everything will be ready in God's time. God is in control. Gratitude. I am grateful for God covering DeMarco and Nay. I am grateful that God continues to be my family's protector and provider. I am grateful that God always finds a way. Release. I let go of how I think my life is supposed to be. I would have never imagined this for 42. Things that are taking up space in my mind and lighting my way. Goals for the last quarter. Focus on peace, not fear. Read the Bible every day. Pray for someone who hurt you. Trust God more than you trust yourself. Talking about trusting God more than you trust yourself, that is definitely tying into what our topic of today is. So we are going to be talking about this season, the struggle of killing your flesh daily. But before we talk more about that, you already know, let's do our biblical affirmations. All right, guys, jumping into biblical affirmations, it is titled, I Rely on God. It's coming out of Psalms 23, verse 2 and 3. It reads, He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet water. He restores my soul. Our affirmations read, I woke up grateful to make it through another week. I am safe and protected. I am taken care of and provided for. I am renewed in my strength. I have everything I need. God completes me. He leads me to a place of rest and solitude, despite the chaos around me. I allow myself to rest and be still. I allow myself to sit quietly. He restores my soul. He restores everything I've lost. I rely on God and focus on where He is taking me. He leads me to a place of trust and confidence in His plan. I enter this day replenished, refreshed, and released from everything that tried to hold me back. Like I said, what we're talking about today and for the rest of the season is how we have to trust in God while killing our flesh daily. Let's get into today's topic. Guys, I am so thrilled to be back for season 2 of this journey. In this season, we're going to dive deep into scriptures of the Bible to explore the profound wisdom and guidance. But really, in this season, we are going to get down to the nitty-gritty of discipline and commitment. I know what you're thinking, right? Like when you think of your promise that God has for you, you out here living your best life. And that's probably the case. And it's definitely better than whatever you're facing right now. But it still comes with great trials, right? I know that you've heard new levels, new devils, and that is for sure a thing. If you've only known what I've been going through in the last month. But the greater the blessing, the greater the responsibility and the warfare. Baby, warfare is always a sign that you're doing something right. Okay? So, when you are in warfare, how are you fighting in your current season's war? Are you complaining? Are you considering giving up? Are you fighting in your own strength? Are you neglecting time with God? Are you desiring the things of the world? Do you feel depleted in your faith or in life in general? Are you starting to go back to bad habits? Baby, I had an instance where my mouth was being reckless and God was out here with the conviction like, how do you want to rededicate your life to me and you talking to people the way you used to talk to people before? Like, that's not what my daughter does. That's not what the daughter of a king does. And I really had to walk around here apologizing to people because I was wrong. And so when you are dedicating your life to God and you are looking to do things differently and you want to be spirit led instead of flesh led, baby, that warfare is real. But sometimes it makes you not even want to spend time with God, right? And that is the thing. Killing your flesh starts with discipline. Even when you don't feel like spending time with God, you still show up. Okay, so let's just get into today's episode. We're going to lay the foundation for our season by discussing the concept of denying our flesh. This is a theme that is throughout the Bible, emphasizing the importance of self-control, which is one of the fruits of the Spirit, resisting worldly desires in pursuit of a higher purpose. So to help us better understand this concept, let's turn to the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 16. Yeah, I know I got my handy dandy women's study Bible. I'll link this. If you guys are new here, I will link all of our tools so that you guys can get better in your study. So Galatians chapter 5, verse 16 reads, "So I walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh." Verse 17 reads, "For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want." So this verse is reminding us of the constant battle that exists within us, right? Like between our fleshly desires and the desires of the Spirit, it's a struggle that every believer faces, and one that literally requires your daily intentional to overcome, which is also called mindset, if you will. If you guys haven't seen Mindset, our second episode in the first season, it is definitely needed to keep going through this spiritual journey. But as we grow in our relationship with God, we start to develop unselfish love, true joy, a lasting peace. And as we build relationship with other people, we are challenged to reflect Jesus' patience, his kindness, and his goodness. See, I almost titled this message WWJD. Now, if you know, you know. If you don't, let me put you on. Back when I was young, there was a saying, WWJD, what would Jesus do? And I was wondering, whatever happened to that? Why did we stop using that? Was it just for propaganda? Because in all actuality, when things are happening in your life, that should be your question. Like, what would Jesus do? How would Jesus handle this? And if you don't know, then that's what the Bible is for. But in all actuality, the Bible is giving you all of the tools that Jesus had so that we could live better lives, and how he killed his flesh daily so that we could do the same. All right, so I'm sure you're asking, Isabel, how do we go about denying/killing our flesh daily? To shed some light on this, let's explore the teachings of Jesus himself in the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 24. Okay? It gives us some real profound insight. All right, before we read Matthew 16:24, the backstory on this is that Jesus is telling his disciples that he is going to die, right? That he knows that he predicts his death. He tells them that they're not going to be with him for much longer, and he is going to have to face some hard times. And this is where we are in the verse. So, verse 24, then Jesus said to his disciples, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. When we break down this verse, right, it's telling us that Jesus calls us to take up our cross daily and follow him. Following Jesus is the pure definition of commitment. Ladies and men, we be out here asking people to commit to us, and vice versa, right? And we cannot commit 30 minutes of our day to spending time with God. 30 minutes of our day to having a conversation with God. 30 minutes of our day to pray, to ask for guidance. We just be out here doing it on our own, and then we wonder why we wonder why the devil is playing on us like he can, because he can. Because we are not even taking the time to commit to God the way that he has committed to us for our entire lives. So, again, I almost titled this, What Would Jesus Do? Because every day he had to show up. Every day he had to kill his flesh. Every day he was tempted on purpose. The devil was out here testing Jesus on purpose. When he got baptized, he was put into the wilderness to see if he would revert, to see if he would say God was blasphemy. What? That was the biggest test. And God still dealt with that. Jesus still dealt with that. So you mean to tell me that we can't do it? And we can. It's just that there's days where our flesh is strong, but we have to be stronger than our flesh, right? Jesus wasted no time with getting to the heart of commitment. Like, either the disciples were committed and they were denying themselves, or they were denying Jesus and doing things the way they wanted to do them, doing things about their own way. And we both know, right? We out here knowing that the disciples decided to follow Jesus. They decided that whatever Jesus had going on was way better than how they thought that life should be. We need to acquire the same mindset, and we need to ask the Holy Spirit to help us do the same. Because our mind is literally what tells us no, which then leads our flesh. But if we really thought with our spirit and we really asked for guidance, then when the warfare appeared, we would be stronger. We would have better tools. But we can't be out here, woe is me. We live in a generation where we want everything fast. We want it now. We need it. We saw it on Instagram. It happened on a reel in 3 minutes, in 2 minutes. Then that's how it should be. Nah, that's not how it works. I read somewhere that says, God's not in a hurry. You are. That's why you anxious. That's why you overwhelmed. That's why you tired. So we're not doing story time this season. Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying that it's easy. Far from it. Killing your flesh daily is the hardest thing that you will ever have to do in this spiritual journey, because now it's literally playing with the devil and the angel on your shoulder, right? Like your flesh is the devil and your spirit is the angel, and you out here tossing between the two. But you got to make a choice. You got to make a choice and you got to stick with it. You can't get mad if you choose the devil and then you woe is me, boo-hoo, and God, why? That's the choice that you made. Every choice that we make has a consequence, a repercussion, if you will. So you have to be committed enough, be disciplined enough to pick your spirit-led decisions and kill your flesh daily. Again, not easy. None of this is easy. It's not. It's far from it. I be on the struggle bus every day. But I'm dedicated. But my heart posture is where it's supposed to be. I'm not intentionally out here trying to hurt people's feelings. I'm not intentionally out here doing malice. When I screw up and I notice I screw up and God bring that to me, I have to repent for that. Because that's why God gives us grace. But if you out here on purpose, like I'm gonna do it anyway, I don't care, you not being spirit led, and your heart posture isn't in the best place. After saying all of that, again, like I said, killing my flesh is hard, but I'm sure that after killing my flesh, my life is gonna be 100 times better. Like there's definitely days where I look back and be like, yo, I see God out here working. I see him. I see him. Listen, the way I see my relationship now with God is the way I see my relationship with my pops when I was like 17, 18. So when I was 17, 18, my pops, he could not tell me what to do at all. I was so headstrong that we was bumping heads all the time. He would tell me to do something, I wouldn't do it. He would ask me to do something, I wouldn't do it. And one day he said, "Oh, okay, learn the hard way." And you know, at 17, 18, I'm like, learn the hard way, whatever. Whatever you say, that. Oh, I learned the hard way. I was in my mid 20s, early 30s, and I would be in situations and be like, yo, if I would have listened to my pops, I probably wouldn't be going through this right now. That's how I see my obedience and relationship with God. I don't want to be 52 years old talking about, dang, I should have been obedient to God when I was 42. Or dang, I should have followed God's instructions when I was 42. Or I should have been patient and sat in my waiting season. Because that's part of killing your flesh. When God tells you to sit down and hold on a second, and we out here do it anyway, we follow in our flesh. We doing whatever it is that we want to do. So no, I don't want to look back 10 years from now and be like, man, I should have listened to God. Man, I would be so much further in life if I would have listened to God. So I might as well just do it now. Because I know, see, the last 7 years have showed me that my God is faithful. He show up on his time, but he show up. And when he show up, it's always grand. And he does it on purpose, right? Like he shows up when you are already at your wit's end, when you can't take no more, because now it wasn't you, it was him. And he get the glory. And I'm all for giving God the glory, because there's definitely things that have happened in my life that I can never say was me. So as we journey through this season, we will dive into scriptures, seeking wisdom and guidance to overcome all of our fleshly desires and embrace a life of intentional obedience to God. I know what you're thinking. What happens to story time? Well, I wanted to lay out the foundation for this season because on the podcast, this season, if you can't tell, it looks different in here. We will be having guests this season. And the guests will tell their stories of either how they are currently being challenged while killing their flesh, or have faced challenges head on and have found peace and purpose in their pain. So I want you guys to stay tuned for more thought-provoking discussions, inspiring testimonies, and practical insight on how to navigate the path of purposeful living. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today for episode 1 of season 2 of Purposeful Pain. You already know, together we'll discover how denying our flesh daily and intentionally obeying God. We'll have story time. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, stories that you want to share, please shoot me a DM over on my IG at Miss Izzy, or send me an email. I'll put my email down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. This is going to be a really good season. We will have guests. They will talk about their journey. Story time is going to be great when it's 2 people. So make sure that you guys are subscribed. Until next time, remember, whatever you do today, do it with love.
When they ask me how I did it, I say God taught me. When they ask me how I'm winning, I say God taught me. When they ask me why I'm different, I say God taught me. This my time to